Hello everyone, and welcome to History of the Ancient World. Today, we're marching into the heart of one of the most formidable forces in history, the Roman army. For centuries, these legions were the backbone of an empire that stretched from the misty shores of Britain to the sun-scorched sands of Mesopotamia. But what made them so effective? Was it just their discipline, their weapons, or something more? Join us as we uncover the secrets behind the Roman war machine. Let's start at the beginning. The earliest Roman army wasn't the professional force we often imagine. In the days of the Roman kingdom and early republic, it was a citizen militia. If you were a property-owning citizen, you were expected to serve. Your wealth determined your role. The richest citizens became the cavalry, the equites, because they could afford a horse. The next wealthiest classes formed the heavy infantry, armed with spears and large shields, while the poorest served as lightly armed skirmishers. This system was simple but effective for defending Rome and conquering its immediate neighbors. The real game changer was the Marian reforms, introduced by Gaius Marius around 107 BC. Rome was facing new threats and needed a bigger, more reliable army. Marius opened up recruitment to all male citizens, regardless of their wealth or land ownership. The state now provided the equipment. This transformed the army from a temporary citizen militia into a standing, professional force. Soldiers enlisted for long terms of service, typically 20 to 25 years. This wasn't just a duty anymore, it was a career. This new professional army was loyal not just to Rome, but often more so to their general, the man who led them in battle and promised them land and rewards upon retirement. This shift in loyalty would have massive consequences for the Republic later on. So, what was it like to be a Roman legionary? Life was tough, disciplined, and relentless. The training was brutal. Recruits would march for miles in full gear, carrying not just their weapons and armor, but also their tools, cooking pot, and rations. We're talking about a pack weighing 60 to 100 pounds. They learned to build fortified camps every single night, a masterpiece of engineering that could be constructed in a matter of hours. They practiced combat drills endlessly until their movements became second nature. This discipline was the glue that held the legions together in the chaos of battle. A centurion, the commander of a century of about 80 men, enforced this discipline with an iron fist, or rather, a vine staff. Let's talk about their gear. The iconic image of a legionary is a soldier in segmented armor, the lorica segmentata, carrying a large rectangular shield, the scutum, and a short sword, the gladius. This combination was deadly. The scutum provided incredible protection, allowing soldiers to form tight formations like the famous testudo or tortoise formation, which made them nearly immune to enemy missiles. The gladius was a stabbing weapon, perfect for the close quarters, brutal fighting that happened after the initial charge. Before they closed in, however, each legionary carried two heavy throwing spears called pila. They would hurl these just before impact. The pilum was designed to bend upon hitting an enemy shield, making it impossible to pull out and throw back and weighing down the enemy's defense. It was a simple yet brilliant tactical system. The structure of the army was a marvel of organization. The basic unit was the legion, which at full strength consisted of around 5,000 men. Each legion was divided into 10 cohorts. Each cohort was then divided into 6 centuries, commanded by a centurion. This hierarchical structure ensured clear command and control on the battlefield. The centurions were the backbone of the army, experienced, hardened veterans who led from the front. Above them were the tribunes, and finally the legion's commander, the legatus. The whole system was designed for flexibility, allowing a general to detach cohorts, or even entire legions, to handle different tasks. Beyond the legionaries, the Roman army also made extensive use of auxiliaries. These were soldiers recruited from the non-citizen peoples of the empire. They often provided specialized skills that the legions lacked, such as expert archers from Crete, slingers from the Balearic Islands, or superb cavalry from Gaul and Germany. Auxiliaries fought alongside the legions and were rewarded for their service. after completing their term, typically 25 years, they and their children were granted Roman citizenship, a powerful incentive that helped integrate conquered peoples into the Roman world. The Romans were also master engineers. Their army didn't just fight, it built. They constructed roads that connected the empire, aqueducts that supplied cities with water, and massive siege engines that could bring down the walls of the most fortified cities. The ballista, a giant crossbow, could hurl bolts with deadly accuracy, while the onager, a type of catapult, could launch heavy stones to smash fortifications. When besieging a city like Masada or Alesia, Roman military engineering was on full display, with massive ramps, siege towers, and lines of fortifications that were as impressive as they were terrifying. The success of the Roman army also lay in its ability to adapt. When they faced the fast-moving cavalry of Carthage, they improved their own cavalry tactics. When they fought in the dense forest of Germany, they learned to fight in more flexible formations. They were not afraid to adopt the weapons and tactics of their enemies if they proved effective. This pragmatism and willingness to learn from their defeats was a key reason for their long-term dominance. They understood that no army could afford to stand still. Ultimately, the Roman army was more than just a military force. It was an engine of Romanization, spreading Roman culture, language, and law to the farthest corners of the world. The camps they built often grew into major cities, many of which still exist today, like Cologne in Germany or York in England. The soldiers who retired and settled in the provinces brought Roman customs with them. For centuries, the legions were the symbol and the guarantor of the Pax Romana, the Roman peace, a long period of relative stability across the Mediterranean world. While their methods were often brutal, their legacy is written into the very fabric of Western civilization. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the world of the Roman legionary. What aspect of the Roman army do you find most fascinating? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to History of the Ancient World. For more deep dives into the past, we'll see you in the next one.